Back of the bus, keeping it real. Dropping knowledge, spitting the real deal. Alpha Rule on the mic, taking control. With every flow, I'm reaching new heights, yo. Raw high, slicing through the lies and deceit. Exposing the truth, bringing heat to the beat. Law dog on the streets, protecting what's right. Fighting for justice day and night. Yeah, knowledge and bodies takes. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. Cyberspace Chronicles, taking you there. Together we ride, leaving no stone unturned. Spreading the truth, it's time to learn.
Hey everybody, how you guys doing today? This is Back of the Bus. I got a special guest with me. For those of you that are in the Atlanta area, you know who this is, or North Carolina, this is Mr. Donnie Davis. For those of you who don't know, so today's conversation is regarding the history of the modern Black quarterback. Modern era Black quarterback. The reason being is because, and the reason why I asked Donnie, I'm gonna let him break it down, is because over the last 20 years, we've seen quarterbacks not being drafted that are Black to quarterbacks that are being drafted. Last year, we had 3 of the top 5 quarterbacks all Black. And this year, you got Shador. This year, you got Cam Ward. This year, you got Milroe. I kind of wanted to tell you guys the history of the Black quarterback because there was a time where that was not a normal thing. But I also want to talk about the evolution of the Black quarterback from the ones that could just run the ball and not throw it to the ones that can actually throw the ball and still run. So Donnie, hey, thank you for coming on today, my brother. Thank you for coming on.
Oh, this is cool, man, because you're hitting a topic that I think has been just overshot. Like, you look now and you see people, and that's just what they know, but people don't know how this thing started or how it didn't start.
Yeah. Okay, so before we start,
right.
I know you're a humble dude. Let me do my thing and let me give you your props and let me break down exactly who you are. Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, you're looking at Donnie Davis that in 91, I believe that's year you came out of school. I was going into high school and there was a school named Hart in California and Newberry Park in California. They had a quarterback by the name of Keith Smith and a wide receiver by the name of Leotis Van Buren. They were breaking all the records. Cal High Sports, we would see them throw for 300, 400 yards. Every week, they was like, they're going to break the records. But even when I was in school, there was this one name. Now, you're 2 years, 3 years ahead of me. There was this one name that was coming up from some kid in North Carolina. I didn't know who it was, but it was a name that kept showing up. And we was like, who else is throwing for them type of yards? Because, in California, that's what we throw the ball, right?
That was liberal all the way around.
That's literally what we do. We throw the rock, we play pro style football, all that stuff.
Right.
So at the end of that particular year, we thought Keith Smith was going to break all the records, but at the end of the year, you had the record, you had the most passing yards, quarterback, wide receiver, all of that stuff. Right. Now, I didn't know I would meet you later on in life, but I remember the name. I was like, Donnie, blah, 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 who's this? So for those of you that don't know, this Donnie Davis was one of the first that I can remember modern Black quarterbacks that was the #1 quarterback in the country, probably one of the top recruits in the country. Now, this is the year that Colorado won the national championship and Georgia Tech won the national championship. Mm-hmm. So we're talking about, when I say modern, so let me first identify what I mean when I say modern Black quarterback. Now, he was ahead of his time. So we're going to talk about what the things that went on in the history of it. But I'm talking about a quarterback that can run the ball, but also can do every progression and pass the ball like a quarterback. Mm-hmm. When I was growing up, we had the Tony Rices of the world, but Tony Rice just kind of ran the ball like the option. Tommy Frazier, they kind of just did their thing. They wasn't really quarterbacks. Or you had Doug Williams.
Right.
Warren Moon, where you stand in the pocket, you sit back, you look like any other quarterback, you could throw the ball because they could not imagine a person that can run the ball as well as go through every progression when it comes to quarterbacking.
Right.
So what I had a couple of questions. Let me make sure I asked them the right way. Well, first, tell me your definition of the modern Black quarterback, this current era, and what is it? How is it different than the black quarterbacks that you remember watching when you were younger?
Yeah, so to me, the modern black quarterback now
Yes.
is what the backyard quarterback has always been in our neighborhoods. That's exactly what it is. I'm gonna be unapologetic about that. That's exactly it's somebody that can throw the ball, that can run the ball, good athlete, tough, just an
You do
all around.
anything.
Yeah, could do it all. And there was a point in time, and I don't want to get ahead of you, but there was a point in time in which this exact play, let's take Patrick Mahomes, for instance, was shunned upon. I mean, it was, if he throws a sidearm or behind his back or
They weren't trying to hear that.
Pocket, that was a no-no. But now it's, look at Patrick, that's how we want you to be, is like that.
Now they say the arm angle. They say, "Oh, look at his arm angles." That he has
arm angle. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So it's definitely a different quarterback, and I think it's definitely opened up a lot of spaces such that we, as a black quarterback, can show up. And that's a term that people use in corporate now, right? Like, show up as your authentic self.
Right.
For the past so many years, we could not show up as our authentic self and think you're going to play quarterback on any type of level. That just wouldn't happen.
Absolutely.
So you had to kind of figure that thing out and decide, all right, do I want to move to the other side of the ball and play receiver?
Yeah, we go.
Or do I want to keep my feet still and play quarterback?
So let's talk about that. So let's take it way back before college, because as we progress through this thing, I think your story was right on the cusp of things starting to change. And we'll talk about who you think actually made that switch, that people start looking at black quarterbacks different. But what was your first position playing football? What did you play first?
Little league, I played running back. Like when I was little league, and I want to say linebacker on defense.
Okay, so then as you progress to when now people start to talk about money and scholarships and high school stuff, what did you go straight to quarterback? When did you make the transition to quarterback?
Yeah, 11th grade. So before 9th and 10th grade, I played receiver.
Okay.
Because we had a quarterback ahead of me that was awesome. And I mean, the dude could play. He wound up going to the University of North Carolina. Did his thing there. But then I transitioned to quarterback in 11th grade. But I had kind of prior experience in the upper levels of Little League playing quarterback. But then when I transitioned into school ball, that's when I kind of went back to, but I never played receiver before either. But wound up starting to receiver varsity in 9th grade.
So the quarterback that was before you was one question: was he a black guy?
Black, yep.
Okay, did you guys play very similar? Do you consider him athletic, or he was more of a pocket passer? What type of quarterback was he?
Different styles. He was definitely athletic, but at the time, again, it just wasn't, it was unintentional, but he was coached up in the mold of the traditional white quarterback.
I got you.
So it wasn't that he wasn't an athlete. It's just that he wasn't allowed to display that because of how he was coached.
And nobody knew they didn't know how to coach that. They
didn't know how to coach that.
For it. Right.
Exactly. Didn't know how to coach it. And the system he ran was slightly different than what I wound up running in high school. So it wasn't, we may have been in the backyard very similar, but he wasn't allowed. And again, it wasn't the fault of the coach per se, because the coach evolved. Right. But he just wasn't allowed to express himself the same way that I was allowed. And then the quarterbacks after me were allowed to express themselves.
Okay. And that's why I said you was right on that. But people have to figure out how we're going to use this guy. He can stand in the pocket, but his feet is definitely a weapon as well.
Right.
So run some stuff for him. So who was your influences? Since you didn't have anybody to look at per se on the big stage, there was no black quarterbacks that I would say that was athletic. Now, there was some that was popping out kind of a little bit different, but who influenced you the most? What quarterbacks influenced you?
Definitely the HBCU space influenced me a lot.
I got you.
So my parents went to Winston-Salem State University.
Okay.
So my dad and mom would take me to their ball games all the time. So I was influenced a lot by Winston-Salem State, North Carolina A&T, and North Carolina Central. Now keep in mind too, you're talking about the I started probably going to games in the late 70s.
I got you.
And at that time, you still had a ton of D1 caliber football players that were going to HBCUs in masses simply because the PWI still weren't saying, hey, we need you in droves, right? So
I
you
got
still had, especially at your quarterback position, your linebacker positions,
right. Center.
those type centers,
Yeah.
right? So I was seeing those guys in the flesh that fast forward 20 years would have definitely made it to the NFL with
Right.
no question. But so you had Alan Hooker at North Carolina A&T.
Okay.
You had Gerald Freiline at North Carolina Central. You had a guy named Bobby Jr. at Winston-Salem State. And they brought in, they were, not only were they good, but they were stylish. They were flashy. They were clean.
I
You
got
know, the long beach towel hanging down. You know, just
the beach towel. I got you.
when they broke the huddle, that they were doing their hands like
Right.
you know,
They had white socks and white gloves.
white
Everything.
socks, white shoe polish on their shoes. I mean, just nothing was. I mean, everything was just smooth, and so they were the ones I looked up to when you're in the backyard. Hey, I'm Alan Hooker. I want to be number 11. Like, I didn't know any. I couldn't name a single PWI quarterback at all, at all.
So now, okay, so let's fast forward and go down this road. So now, since that was your influence, North Carolina A&Ts, the Centrals, the Winston-Salem States, with you being so highly ranked, obviously everybody's like, man, because you came out with Heath Schuler, you top quarterbacks in the country.
Right.
How did you make your decision on what was the recruiting process like? Because you play football a certain way,
right?
That no one is playing that way at the major levels. It might be playing that way at the HBCU,
right,
but they're not playing that way at a major level trying to get into the NFL.
That's a great question. So the crazy thing is, I really looked at the schools that first and foremost even played a black quarterback.
And that would be?
That probably sounds crazy today, but there was only a handful of PWIs across the country that were known to play a black quarterback. And you have to look back to 1972 to find the last one that ever played, right? When they integrated the team or whatever. And so that cut out 90%, 95%, of the schools. And so, and then to your point.
Do you remember that list though? You remember that list?
Yeah. So it was Notre Dame, because they had Tony Rice. Colorado had a guy named Darren Hagan.
Okay.
Georgia Tech had Sean Jones.
Okay.
Virginia had Sean Moore.
I remember Sean Moore. I remember him.
And then University of Houston had Andre Ware, who won the Heisman Trophy that year.
Right. And then Florida, was Charlie Ward already at Florida State or not yet?
Yep, Charlie Ward was in Florida State, yeah. But he wasn't the Charlie Ward that we wound up to know.
Okay, it was early Charlie Ward.
Correct. But so that's kind of, in every school I just listed, it was in my final 8-10 schools.
Okay.
So there we have it. And that was, so it really about the style of play really didn't come into play. It was really, was this a school that would actually play a black quarterback?
Wow, that's deep. I mean, and what's so crazy about that, and that's why I wanted to take people through the history of it, is that's nowadays it's almost like you looking for black quarterbacks. If you look at the top quarterbacks around the country, most of them are black. Not saying race means a lot. It's just the fact that you have to be open to that, because these camps that you go to, out of 30 quarterbacks, when you talk about height, size, athleticism, strength, throwing ability, and you want to run that veer option type of stuff, you got to recruit some of these black quarterbacks.
That's right. Yeah, you do.
What was the recruiting? So what was the recruiting like? Like in regards to, I know you guys got phone calls all the time, because I heard about you back in California. And for those of you that don't know, he still got some records, national records when it comes to high school football. Still top 5 in a lot of categories. What was that whole process like, knowing that you had to listen to some of the bull crap of what coaches are going to tell you, but you also had to watch what they actually did at the same time?
Well, I think I was fortunate in that my folks and my high school coach
Okay.
were very, very involved in my process. So they were able to really help me weed through that. Now, just like anything, the more you do it, the better you get at it. I think if we were to do it all over again, we'd probably do some things differently.
Okay.
But um, it was it was something, man. It was something. Like you said, the phone was ringing a lot. Got a bunch of mail at that time. Was getting a whole bunch of mail.
Yeah, that time was
Um,
in mail. Yeah.
right, getting letters at school, at home, and it was cool. And then you had a whole bunch of coaches coming to the school and that type deal. But it really came down to, and at that time you could only take 5 official visits. Um, so the dynamic was a little different. But
Right.
again, the kids today, I feel, have a lot more distractions, i.e., just something basic like uniforms, right?
Right.
Like who has the flashy uniform, the NIL stuff, and all of that stuff comes into play. Whereas then it was literally, all right, what does this school do academically? And then what are the opportunities football? The crazy part is, if you dared to play quarterback at that time, I think you pretty much in your mind had made it up that I was not going to play in the NFL, not a quarterback, right? So if you kind of roll the dice and say, I want to play quarterback at this PWI level as a black guy,
Yeah.
I'm pretty much writing off the NFL. Canada, the Arena League, whatever, but
Right.
the NFL, that's probably, I'm this might be my last 4 years playing this.
So that's what I want, man. You led right into the next question. While you were in college, even though you were one of the #1 players, one of the top players in the country, you have all the stats, you have everything you possibly could. The only difference was your skin color and maybe some athleticism. Were you ever discouraged in playing quarterback once you got there? Like, we might need to move you to wide receiver or move you to tight end or something else, even though you're the #1 guy?
Right. So not that wasn't driven from me.
Okay.
But, however, my redshirt sophomore year, we had my redshirt freshman year, we had a new coach come in. So my redshirt sophomore year, this coach that we had that just had, it didn't work out well for him. And then ultimately during that process of it not working out well for him, it didn't necessarily work out well for me either because of some other stuff that happened. But they wound up switching me to receiver for a year.
Wow, I did not know.
I was on special teams. Like they had me on the edge, rushing, blocking punts. Like it was nuts. I was blocking the gunner on punt returns. It was crazy. So it wasn't necessarily driven by me, but that goes to show that they figured we can take this dude and move him to another position that he hadn't played in 6 years.
Right.
And we have guys that we recruited in here to do this, and we're going to play him over them.
Okay, so for those that don't know, so Donnie's about, I would say, listed at about 6'3.5", but probably a true 6'2.5", 6'3".
Right.
And what was your 40 time at that time? About
4.41.
4.41. So,
right.
So you understand why coaches at that time were like, well, I got a 6'3" guy that runs a 4.41, but he wants to be quarterback. So even kids, you can't find kids to recruit that are 6'3", 4.41s. It's hard to even find those. And the fact that you was at quarterback, it was almost a lazy way of going about it and just saying, let's put him over there because I know he's an athlete.
Right.
And even though I did not know, so that was your
red shirt sophomore year. Right.
Okay, so how did you get back to quarterback?
Great question. The coach got fired. And then the coach that they brought back in was on the staff that originally brought me in the quarterback.
Okay.
And he moved me back to quarterback.
Okay.
So that's how I wound up back in quarterback. Yeah.
Back to quarterback. Okay, so now while you're in college, are you seeing anything that gives you hope? Are you starting to see any quarterbacks that look like you, that play like you, that's starting to emerge, I guess, even in college, let alone is there anyone in the pros that you're like, this may work out? Anybody that you think might have influenced the NFL or people to look at the playing style of the black quarterback differently?
No, well, they tried that a year ahead of me was Cordell Stewart. And they tried that whole slash bit
Okay.
with him, with the
He played receiver. So they still not fully vested
That's
in
right.
the quarterback.
That's right. The running back, slot, like they had him all over the place.
Okay.
But then there was a guy, I may be wrong, but he played quarterback at Michigan State. I want to say Tony Banks.
Yeah. You know what? I actually played with Tony Banks. Yeah, but he was
that conventional. There you go. He was that big boy, conventional drop back quarterback.
Right.
And then you had McNair, was right around that time.
Yeah. But he still had an HBCU tag on him.
Bingo.
But he was a monster though.
A monster and an athlete. Like he played that style of ball. But other than him, it still wasn't the black quarterbacks that were playing in PWIs, that still wasn't transitioning to the NFL yet.
Right. So
it just wasn't.
So out of the quarterbacks that you've seen in the NFL, who do you think really broke the mold? Who do you think broke the mold for the NFL to say, yo, wait a minute, we need this? Someone that's won, we actually probably need this. Who do you think broke the mold more than any? Because I remember you got the Randall Cunninghams of the world, but he didn't really win. So who do you think broke the mold?
I think it was McNair.
McNair broke the mold. Okay.
I think McNair did, and really, because to your point, they were winning as well.
Right.
And he was able to, in games, in a single game, you could see him be a prototypical drop back pocket passer.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the same game, you see him just backyarding, right? And what he also brought to the table is that if you watch just his mechanics and style of play, he totally blew out the water what you would before this would learn at a football camp as a quarterback, with how you carry the ball high, the carriage, all that's the stiffness, if you will, that was at the quarterback position. Because he was just loose, he from his hip, he just played ball. He went out there and just played ball. So I think he was the one that kind of cracked it open. And then people started looking, but it still took a minute to it's almost like when you get when they come out with a new type car or a Tesla. Okay. You know, a lot of people are saying, you know what, I'm afraid to buy one because I'm not sure if there's enough mechanics out there that can work on it if it goes bad.
Right.
I think people say, hey, we like this style of play, but how many people know how to coach this type of guy?
Right.
So until we get some coaches in here that know how to really maximize this style of play, it's still going to be far and few between as far as when we see this. But then what started happening is you started getting these guys that were exposed to that system. Then it's okay, well, we can put him here. We can do this, that, and the third. And then it started to grow that way. That's my opinion. But I think he opened it up to the masses as to what we were seeing in the HBCU space forever.
I got you. So I'm trying to think about that era. So Steve McNair was about 93, right? 92?
Yeah, he was mid-90s.
Mid-90s. Do you feel like, so I'm trying to think, was there anybody before him that even played similar to him?
Like you said, Randall Cunningham. But even if you look at Randall Cunningham, if you look at him now, his footage now, he's still not playing as aggressively as now the quarterbacks play. As far as that style, it was a lot looser than the conservativeness, because that's all we can compare it to. So people are like, wow, which he was. I'm not taking anything away from him. He was a great athlete in the system in which he played. But even now, you would say that's really not that, far out.
But he also, when you watched him play, he didn't have the full, the whole playbook wasn't open for you.
Correct.
That's what we really mean is when you're a modern black quarterback, you see the check downs. You see, look the safety off, throw it to the backside.
That's right.
Also see those off schedule plays where nothing's open. Boom, I'm gone. Let me throw it to my hip. 40 yards down the field because I just broke containment of the defensive end.
That's right.
And that's the part that now I do have one person, and I might be controversial. He's not a black quarterback. That I think I talked to you before about it, and it really bells went off in my head, and I was like, I never really thought about that. What's your thoughts on Steve Young? What role does Steve Young play in this whole thing? So I'm gonna let you explain to the mass, especially the young people that's watching this, who Steve Young was and what role did he play in this?
So Steve Young was a quarterback that came on the heels of Joe Montana, essentially, as to how he made his name was with the 49ers.
Right.
And again, don't get me wrong, I think Joe Montana was good. I think Steve Young was good. They also hit the 49ers at a great time because their receiving core was absolutely insane.
And Bill Walsh had a system that was
awesome. Great running backs, great defense, great special teams. Like, they just hit that thing at the right time. And I think Steve Young, again, not to be controversial or any of that kind of stuff, but Steve Young happened to be a person that was not black, that played a style game very similar to what we play.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was a lot more palatable because there are a lot of things that he would do that they would just go nuts over. That if a black guy did the same thing, they would say he's not disciplined, he's not coachable, he doesn't have the mechanics, all these other things. But I do think he played an important part in this whole evolution thing that you're talking about. And that is, I think that Steve Young did show, like you said, you can watch him on film. He's literally dropping back and you can see him going through his progression. Like he's trying to do that first, and then he'll make something happen with his feet if he has to. And he could start, throw, whatever, whatever. So he did an awesome job at that. I just think that just in general, he got a lot of credit, which he deserved because he won games, like you're saying. But there were a lot of black quarterbacks out there that could do that and some, and have been doing it longer.
Right. And just to piggyback on what you said, even with the Steve Young thing, you remember he had you remember the scene that he said, I finally got this monkey off of my back?
Yeah.
Not only did they say black quarterbacks can't win, they said Steve Young couldn't win playing like that.
That's right. That's right.
You remember that? So,
you're exactly right.
So it almost was like, even white guys can't play like that.
That's right. That's
but
right.
Then he won the Super Bowl. That's a Deion Sanders Super Bowl. He won the Super Bowl, San Francisco 49ers. When he won it, he was like, I got the monkey off my. Yep. You can play like this.
That's right.
And be a quarterback, be able to run. Now, he wasn't as athletic as you guys. He didn't run a 4.4. Right. But he ran good enough to get out, maybe a 4.6, 4.7, get out the pocket.
And at that time, I think that defenses have evolved since then as well, from not only scheme-wise, but personnel-wise.
Right.
You got to think about the league was packed full of linebackers, linemen, that necessarily you weren't expecting them to chase a Michael Vick anywhere.
No, they were 255 pounds.
Right.
Linebackers. Huge. Right. Huge. So even at that time, I don't even think they had scramble drills. So what a scramble,
Right.
I'm trying to break it down. A scramble drill is when the quarterback breaks the pocket, you have a drill to latch on to wide receivers because whatever your zone is, whatever your man is, all bets are off now that this guy is scrambling. You have to go into a receiver and have secondary contained.
Right.
They didn't even have that at that time because nobody was running like nobody was.
That's right.
No, then you had Steve Young, and then I got another person, and this is another controversy. You know who started embracing that, and he eventually won because he decided to embrace it? Because he had the ability, but they didn't want him to do it.
Who was that?
John Elway. John Elway kept losing.
Yeah.
Until he embraced the idea, like, I'm going to use my legs. One of his most famous plays is not even that.
I agree.
It's him running for a touchdown, flipping over the
That's right. That's right. When he got hit. Yep.
So so the stigma on the black quarterback, you black. We could talk about the whole you're not smart enough to run the offense, but I don't even like your style. I don't even like what you do. I need you to stand in the pocket and get hit.
That's right.
Why are you standing here and get hit?
Right.
The guy is coming for me. Can I move out the way and go?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I kind of want, because we talked about it before, and I was just like, I Randall Cunningham's of the world, I got it, but there's a couple of other unmelanated brothers that
Yeah,
help move this kind of,
for
move the
sure, for sure.
absolutely.
But like
Okay.
anything, anything in life, man, you need allies.
Absolutely.
You do. You need somebody out there that's gonna bridge the gap such that people just feel comfortable and then make it okay.
Right. So regardless of playing style, let's talk quarterback. Let's just straight up talk quarterback. What do you think are the 3 top attributes every successful quarterback must have to be a successful quarterback? What are the 3 top attributes that you say, regardless of playing style, what does a quarterback need to be successful?
I think number one, you have to have a short memory. Have to.
Got you.
You have to be able to throw a pick and come back the next series and not be shell shocked. On the other side, you can throw a touchdown, you can't get the big head. Right. I think that's having a short memory is huge. I think being a collaborator is big. And when I mean collaborator or say collaborator, I mean you have to put your personal issues and feelings aside for the sake of the huddle. Even above and beyond everybody else. Like it can't be I don't like Bob Smith, outside of football. Right. So I'm bringing it here. Like, you really have to be able to put everything aside to get accomplished what you want to get accomplished. So I think that's what I mean by being a true collaborator. And third, I think you just have to have that grit. I think you have to be that person that when all the chips are down, you have to be that person that comes in and says, fellas, we can still do this thing. Like, I don't care what they say. I don't care what's going on. Like, you have to be the eternal optimist of anybody. If a play comes in and you don't think it's a good play, you have to be able to sell that to the people in the huddle. Hey, fellas, this is the play, man. This is gonna get us in the end zone. Like, you have to do that. You have to be that. You can't walk in the huddle and be like, hey, man, look, coach just called this. It ain't gonna work because it ain't worked all week in practice. But let's
go ahead and do it. Let's just go ahead and do it.
Let's give it a shot anyway.
Right.
So I think those are the 3 things, man, because if I look at the quarterbacks that I've seen that are successful, they are that guy. They have all that stuff wrapped into themselves. I really do.
Okay, so here we go. So we're getting near the end. So who is on your Mount Rushmore of modern era black quarterback? Modern era black quarterbacks. Mount Rushmore. And I got a little bonus question regarding the Michael Vick, because I hear people talk about it a lot. But let's go. Give me Mount Rushmore.
Now, I didn't go to school in California, so how many people are on Mount Rushmore?
4.
Okay, got it.
You gotta have 4. Yeah.
Okay. As much as I talk trash about him, I do like Mahomes.
Okay. Oh, you say he's already up there, huh?
Yeah, I like Mahomes. I like him because he clearly is out there playing his game.
So why you talk trash? Okay, so tell me, why you talk trash?
Well, I talk trash about Jordan too, right? Like, I think
you just go against the grain. That's
I'm just right. Kobe, it don't matter. I'm just an antagonist.
I got you.
But yeah, so I like. I mean, he's won. To your point, and I like something that you say, which I think is very important. What a lot of people leave out, and that is, okay, you're great, but if you're in a position of quarterback, how much are you winning? That's important. Like, how much. But anyway, so I got Mahomes. And you may not agree with this.
It's your list. It's your list.
I have to put Vic up there.
Okay. I'm not disagreeing. I'm just letting you cook.
I have to put Michael Vick up there. I think that if Michael Vick he was almost, to me, a victim of his superior athletic ability.
Right.
Because I don't think he's ever really truly been coached up as like a true quarterback, right? And I'm gonna kind of deviate here for a second.
Right.
Like I talk all the time about when people talk about Peyton Manning or Tom Brady. Got it. Like we say, they've won championships. Can't deny that. However, similar to like what Biggie the rapper said, this is all I could do. I didn't have any other skills, so I had to make this work. Right. So similar to them, they didn't have the pressures of being moved to receiver, being moved to running back, being moved to DB, bulk up and play linebacker. You know, it was quarterback or bust. So I'm gonna be the best at this. But you take a Michael Vick, for instance,
Do everything.
that dude could have played so many different positions. And so therefore you and he's so fast and so quick. You know what, Mike? Things break down. You just take off and run. I'm not gonna necessarily teach you how to move your feet in the pocket, slide up, slide back, bail out, reverse, pivot.
Right. Keep the ball always in throwing
Like, no, you run with one, just always in one hand. Like,
right.
just, so anyway, I think I still put him up there with that because I think from a quarterback position, he did what he was supposed to do in that position, and that is lead the team. I think that the dude was awesome for that time. Right. Would McNair be considered? Are we putting him in the modern space or no?
Yeah. Somebody that can run and throw and go through all. See that's where the big thing. But this is your list. That's where the big thing. I don't know. I have him more like a Tony Rice than I do have him going through progressions. I don't have Michael Vick going through progressions. I think Michael Vick was a first receiver, second receiver run.
No,
I don't think he was a look to the right side of the field and scan all the way to the left side of the field, check down, and then, that wasn't him. But McNair absolutely did that.
Yeah, McNair's
Mahomes does that all day. Like, even checking off, like, audibling the play.
Right.
Meaning, check.
That's right.
Pretty much this is the play. And my check is going to be, if he ain't open, his man-to-man, and the linebackers turn their back, I'm running.
Right.
But I get what you're saying, because he was on the front of video games. He was extremely successful, especially in the Atlanta area, everywhere. Michael Vick was that guy, especially even coming out of college. So I got why he's on there, but that's why I was just saying. That's why I'm glad you brought it up, because I said, yeah, he is modern black quarterback, but he's more Tony Rice than he is.
Right. I can see that. I can see that.
I got you.
Now I'm gonna throw one out there that probably never comes up.
Okay, talk to me. Who we got?
But I think that this guy, given the right circumstances and right time and space, should have been one of the ones that we would be talking about like forever and ever.
Hall of Famer caliber.
No doubt. I think he had the tools. I know he had the tools, the skill set.
I know where you're going. Let me see where you're going. I'm listening.
Vince Young.
Oh, that threw me way off. That was not a name I was thinking.
Vince Young, man, had the ability to read defenses. He had the arm. He had the size. I think that dude could have been just one of those guys, man. Like,
okay,
I really do. I really, really do. I think, but again, just like everything in life, man, it's about not only your talent, but being in the right place in the right time and in the right system with the right people, all that kind of stuff, man. And then whatever off the field issues and challenges, but
right. So okay. So
he would be up there for me.
The conversation. Now we get into straight barbershop talk. Right. You went Vince Young. I thought you was going somewhere different.
Like who?
Cam Newton.
Whew.
I thought you was going because when you talked about the dude 6'6", 45, got a rocket arm, won a national championship. Vince Young did it too, so I'm not gonna knock him out. I'm just saying, was he the MVP? He was MVP of the NFL one year, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
That's where I thought something about his career. He hit a peak. It's almost like a person that hits a peak in high school. It's great in high school, but it's sad when you get older. You're like, dang, dude, I thought you was about to be. So
just teetered out.
yeah, so
but a lot of that, man, I think had to do with the way, and I may be nitpicking here.
Okay.
But the league in and of itself treated Cam different on the field than they did any other quarterback. Like they treated Cam like a running back at quarterback. Like he didn't have the same protections as a lot of other people did because of the very thing we're talking about, because of his ability to do things other than stand in the pocket and throw the ball.
Well, we're gonna argue today. I think that is a simple way to view it, but a more complex way I think it's the offense that he ran. You got to understand when you run that veer,
putting them out there like that.
When you run that veer,
yeah.
Robert Griffin understood this. Once you run that veer, the defense does not have to treat you like a quarterback no more.
But even when he was in the pocket, though.
But the thing is, he did it so much.
The weren't flying the same way as they were for everybody else.
I agree. No, I agree. It's just, I just think that he ran that offense. And when you run that offense, even walking into the game, you might not run the veer the whole game. They still gonna view you as a running back. And you 6'6", 260. So they're like, what you crying about? Them little Lily quarterbacks over there, they like, don't hit me. Man, Tom Brady will get a flag from somebody just walking by him.
He would.
Cam Newton, you literally would have to hit that man with 3 people before they even thought about it. And they might pull the flag by just saying, he was outside the pocket.
That's right.
So
I think Cam's a good one though. Cam is that guy. Cam was solid.
So we're gonna do something fun, man. Hey, and I think this conversation is a conversation that I'm pretty sure the comment section, I'm pretty sure people are gonna have this conversation, especially football aficionados that seen the program. There's a lot of new kids, they don't have a reference point on where
that's right. This is what they know. That's right.
All they see is they see Shador, they see Jim. What you talking about black quarterbacks? They see Jalen Daniels at Washington doing his thing, Caleb Williams, #1 quarterback. They look at it as that's not a big deal. So just like a black president is not a far-fetched thing. But our parents or grandparents, you told them that somebody that's black could be the president, they said that would never happen.
That's right.
It was a totally different era. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do rapid fire. I'm gonna say the name of the quarterback, black quarterback, and give me the first word that comes to your brain.
Okay.
All right, you ready? Ready? Okay. The first category is going to be past quarterbacks. Okay. The first one is going to be
P-A-S-T or P-A-S-S?
Past. P-A-S-T.
Okay, got it.
Past.
Yep.
Past. Okay. So here we go. First word that comes out of your brain. Cordell Stewart.
Athlete.
Randall Cunningham. That's the word? Is that the word?
Flexible.
Okay. Yeah. Dante Culpepper.
Prototypical.
Okay. Steve McNair.
Strong.
Donovan McNabb.
Big time. Well, hyphenated. Big time.
Okay. Okay.
I totally forgot that McNabb. We can bring him back in conversation too.
Okay. When we finish this, I know you're gonna have some names go pop up. We can be like, man, I didn't think about them.
Right.
Okay. Michael Vick.
Superior.
Quincy Carter, one of my boys. Ooh.
I don't. Oh man.
Because you've known since high school.
Yeah. Could have been. What could have been? I'm making all that one word. What could have been?
What could have been? That is absolutely the facts. That was on the cusp of getting that deal.
No, but people don't know if he had stayed on the shoot, nobody would know Romo.
Nobody would have known Romo. If he would stayed on if he would stayed on his path, no one would have ever known who Tony Romo was.
Nope.
All right, let's keep it going. Vince Young.
Special.
Warren Moon.
Classic.
Yeah, that's Rodney Peete.
Sweet Pete. Steady.
Okay. Colin Kaepernick.
High school.
Dang, dang. Oh man, you killing
I
me.
mean,
What?
yeah,
What? You said
high school.
oh man. Okay.
First thing that came to mind, man, was a high
Hey,
school.
hey, we gonna have to do another one. I'm gonna have a panel because they're gonna have some questions for you. Okay. Okay, high school. Okay. Robert Griffin III, RG3.
Explosive.
Okay. All right. So we got
Explosive.
we got the pass out the way.
Right.
And I can go all the way back to okay, I'm at least get this one. We gotta at least give this one because we gotta give him his props.
Right.
What's what's the first word that comes to you? I didn't put him down here. I thought it was too old to go, but this pretty much he's the beginning of all of this, even though he what's the first word that comes to your brain for Doug Williams?
Ooh. Him.
Him. That's that.
Him.
Just him.
Yeah.
He won that Super Bowl.
That's right.
He's the dude.
Just him. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now we're going to current. Let's go to some
Right.
current guys. Pat Mahomes.
Free.
Kyler Murray.
Scooter. That's the first word that came to mind.
Yeah, Scooter.
Scooter. Yeah.
All right. Jalen Hurts.
Boss.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud.
Ooh, young.
Yeah. Russell Wilson. Corporate.
Yeah. Basic.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Dak Prescott.
Underrated.
Ooh. Comments
Yeah.
gonna be lit on this. We're gonna have a part 2 of this for real.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson.
Another special.
Deshaun Watson.
Trouble.
Mm.
Trouble.
Hey. Jameis Winston.
Resurgence.
Okay. Now, keep in mind, all I'm doing is talking about the current and the past NFL players.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's people on the list that we could talk about, like the Charlie Wards of the world.
That's right.
In his role in college. Hagen, they talk about
Hagen.
Colorado. Yeah, man, this conversation can go on for 6 hours, but we'll chop it up when we have to another time. Okay. Now, future quarterbacks. Here we go. Caleb Williams.
Star.
Jaden Daniels.
Ooh-wee. Okay, another kind of, I'm putting all those words together. Huge upside.
Okay. Mike Penix.
Question mark.
Okay. Shedeur Sanders.
As they would say in the basketball game. Overrated.
Oh my goodness. Oh man.
And we could do a whole segment. I'm not a hater.
Oh man.
But I don't know, man. I just
oh man.
put your buff fans on me, man. We can go ahead.
Okay, listen, I'm gonna tell you this now. Promise me, once I get the comment section down,
right,
you are willing to go live and have conversations because I already know. Oh man, and this is not. Hey, listen, YouTube. I had no clue. This is not planned. I'm just talking to a court. Listen, okay, man. That's wild. That's a wild one. Oh. Dang, I gotta come back to that one. Cam Ward, Miami.
Ooh, okay, flip side of that. I think he's great. I think he's underrated. I think he's underrated.
Bro, you got my head hurting, and you got me. All
I
right,
think
all right. So
he's already high on the list, but I still think that dude, he's working with something.
all right, so this is where we're going. I might have to chop this up. All right, let's go back. Let's go back. Okay, let's talk about quarterbacks that weren't NFL quarterbacks that influenced you coming through, and what was it about their game? We got to get back to the Shador thing. That's going to probably be a whole nother take,
Right?
because that was interesting. So Charlie Ward was the one that got away.
Right.
Every black person that watched Charlie Ward play football, you played against them Florida State teams.
Right.
Oh, you can tell me a little about them. Them teams are crazy. But he was the one that we like, this is it.
Right.
It wasn't even Andre Ware. Andre Ware ran like a running shoot, but we never really thought that he was gonna be that dude.
Right.
What was it like watching Charlie Ward do his thing at Florida State?
It was amazing, man. Because to see a quarterback run the system the way he ran the system, as cool as he ran the system on big stages. I mean, and he did everything that you felt, to your point, he needed to do in order to get a shot, like to be considered as a legit NFL prospect, right? Like, what more did you need to do? You know, they couldn't say he wasn't playing anybody. They couldn't say that, you know, he wasn't throwing the ball. They couldn't say that he wasn't making checks and reads and all the stuff that they would say. They couldn't say he wasn't disciplined. They couldn't say that he was too flashy, right? Like, and that was another thing to say, you know what, man, ain't no way. If I'm playing quarterback, I ain't going to the NFL.
Right.
I'm not to play, again, not to play quarterback. I'm not. You know, it's just, if this dude who won the Heisman Trophy, at the time, Florida State had just come into the ACC after being independent. And at the time, Miami was great. University of Florida was great. Notre Dame was great. I mean, and they knocked every one of them off. Like,
right.
But yet, you ain't getting a shot. So, what does it look like for any other brother that's playing quarterback? You know, anywhere around your sphere.
Right.
They
and so
pretty much telling us you ain't gonna get a shot.
So the myth is, everybody said, well, he didn't get a shot because he decided to go to NBA. But the real story was that he decided to go to the NBA because the conversations he was having with the NFL, it didn't feel, we were talking about the black quarterback was not the modern black quarterback was not a thing that they really wanted to introduce. So he said the conversations felt like, you know, like you kind of on a date, you like, are you gonna have a second date? It didn't seem genuine. They didn't give him what he wanted to hear for him to give up his NBA dreams.
That's right.
That's really what it was.
It was an awkward space, man. Like, I had buddies that played at University of Virginia, at Clemson. And then I had buddies that played at Norfolk State, North Carolina A&T, that played quarterback at those respective schools. And the experience was totally different. Like, they had a lot of fun, to be honest, at the HBCU schools. It's like they had a lot of fun playing the sport that they love.
Being relied upon,
right. And they didn't necessarily talk about going to the NFL. Like, that wasn't necessarily the thing that they were talking about. If it happened, it happened, but it wasn't like they were sitting in a pool of quarterbacks in the MEAC or CIAA that every quarterback, no matter what school you went to, was getting a shot in the NFL, right? Which was the case in the ACC. There were dudes, my senior year at Georgia Tech, every single quarterback that was a senior, whether it was Maryland, who we beat the brakes off of, Duke, who we beat the brakes off of, and Duke was not even competitive at that time, Florida State, Boston College, every team we played they had a white quarterback that was a senior. They found themselves on the roster in the NFL the next year, except for me.
Okay,
Like,
but
I
tell
was the
okay.
only one
Uh-huh.
that did not find myself on a roster. And I went toe to toe, head to head in the same conference, playing the same teams on the same stage with the same football as they did. And you had a quarterback from Duke, a Duke team that won 2 games, that
Mhm.
finds himself on the NFL roster. What
Mm.
is that?
And you run the 4-4-1.
Right, right.
So
At the
so
combine. So this wasn't a hand thing that they did on Tech's campus.
right.
So, and this is a whole nother story. But I got invited to the combine, get up to the combine, do the testing. Then they tell me, hey man, we want you to do 225. What can you do on that?
They don't
What?
do quarterbacks don't do 225.
Right. Next thing I know, they tap me on the shoulder. Hey man, I want you to go down there with the receivers and catch a couple of punts. What? They want you to stay an extra day or two and want you to do some DB drill. What? What are we what are we talking about here?
Right.
Like, it was crazy, man. But it was just, but at the time it was like, you know what? My expectations were such that it wasn't like I was like, wow, this is a shocker. You know, like, it was like, dude, okay, you made it a step further than a lot of other brothers by even getting invited to the combine. Like, be thankful for that, you know?
Wow.
So whatever.
So okay. So I got one more name I forgot to mention. Jalen Milroe. What's your thoughts on him, the kid out of Alabama?
Yeah. Uh a winner. Same
Okay,
thing as a
that's fair.
yeah.
Now, I would be a horrible, horrible host to let you leave without us going back through 2 names, and I need a appetizer. We don't have to go into it because this is going to be a part 2. I promise you it's going to be a part 2. I already know it. I can hear it now. Let's start with the Colin Kaepernick because we're going to get to Shador. I'm going to let you cook. I'm going to sit back and let you cook. Your word that you said for Colin Kaepernick was high school.
Right.
Appetize it, break it down, give us the trailer version of it, and why would you say that?
Right. So, okay, so I felt like, and this is strictly in the football space, right? Not talking about the political stance he made, because that's a whole nother sphere that I don't know if I would have had the courage to do, right? So that's a whole nother thing. I just felt like as a quarterback, I just felt like he had a very elementary game. Like, I felt like to your point earlier, I felt like he was the kid that you coach and you tell him where you want him to go with the ball.
Okay.
Like, I didn't feel like he was that progression kind of guy. I felt like he was a good athlete that you put in the huddle and you say, okay, look, all right, on this play, you're gonna go from the X, Y, check down. You know, nothing on this side. I'm gonna give you half the field to read, right? Not the whole field. I'm gonna just give you half the field to read. And I don't feel like he ever, to no fault of his, I don't think he ever progressed, in my opinion, out of that. Like, I never saw him progress as he matriculated kind of through the league. Like, I didn't see his swagger change. I didn't see him get more comfortable or whatever case may be. I just felt like he was stuck kind of in that rookie phase, you know?
Right.
So, not to say he couldn't have been there, but I just felt like he never got out of that kind of, all right, now we're going to loosen up the playbook and let you kind of express yourself. And I felt like he was always stuck in that kind of 1-2 go. Okay, I don't know what's happening over here, but you know, that's just what I felt. I didn't feel like they really put the ball in his hands. You know, they made that run or whatever, but I really don't feel like they put the ball in his hands when it really mattered.
You felt like the
Um,
team was good. You just felt like the team was a good
there
team.
you go. There you go. Like almost like, hey, we want you to not lose the game
I
instead
got
of win the game. Like you're a great manager, but we're not going to necessarily have you as our guy to, win the game. Like that's it. That's it.
okay.
So I think
Okay.
that it wasn't as much him as a player, as much as it was the people that were entrusted with him and his progression as a quarterback.
I got you. I got you. Okay. Now we about to now we about to go to another name that in every space when it comes to sports is a lightning rod. Coach
He
Prime, the Shadors, the Colorados. And I'm gonna just let you cook.
right.
So the word that you used for Shador
Mhm.
was overrated. Let me first tell you why I feel like I'm surprised on that because, and I want to know, I gotta hear it. I'm trying to build it up. Um, he's been winning this year.
Right.
Their offensive style has changed more so complementary. They run the ball a little bit more. He throws a little bit more. So he
Right.
looks a little bit more complete. His game looks a little bit more complete due to the offensive coordinator kind of
Right.
training him to some degree.
Right.
Why do you feel
Right.
that he is overrated? I'm gonna sit back and listen. I'm gonna let you cook and let the internet listen to you.
Now, so when I say he's overrated, I'm not saying that he's not good, right? So I'm
Okay.
gonna lead off with that.
Okay.
I think he's talented. I think he's a good quarterback. I just think all of the noise around him has made it appear as though he's a lot better quarterback than I feel that he actually is. Like I don't think he is a quarterback necessarily, independent of Dion, independent of what Dion brought to Colorado. I don't think he would be a quarterback that we're talking about 5 years from now. Not because of his skill set, right?
Okay.
Maybe because of his dad, maybe because of the stuff that's happening at Colorado as a whole.
Mhm.
But I don't think he'll be that guy that 5 years from now, people will be saying, yo, you remember, such and such,
Okay.
or people making up stuff about him. Like he's that type of dude. Again, I think he's good. I think he's a good quarterback. And I think he should be one of the top quarterbacks drafted, next year or this upcoming draft. I do believe that.
Right. Right.
I think that the hype surrounding that kind of that halo effect has come into play in that I think he's put up as a better quarterback than he actually is. And I say just case in point, I feel like that he's done a better job. And I think to your point, a lot due to the system this year than last year in getting rid of the ball, for instance,
Okay.
or the mechanics of the quarterback and the system and all this other kind of stuff. But I just think that he is a good quarterback. I just don't think he's as good as people paint around him. That's what I'm saying. Like I don't think that years from now we'd be like we're bringing up these names. I don't think he will be one of those names you bring up because of what he did on the field.
So the team he goes to is going to play a big part in his career. Like there's
I
some quarterbacks
totally agree.
that no matter what team they go to, you knew they was going to be that.
That's right. I totally agree.
Okay.
I totally agree. I think he can be uber successful if he lands in one of those systems that he is like that fit for. I don't think he's that quarterback that you can draft just because he's a good quarterback, right? Like some people can do that. And then to your point, that quarterback's gonna be good no matter what. Like
Right.
he's gonna be good no matter what you do. But he's gonna have to be in that system. I think he's a great system quarterback. And you can't say that for everybody. Like to that point, some quarterbacks are bigger than a system and you can't fit them in a box, which has been the problem with black quarterbacks going back forever, is that they've tried to fit these modern style black quarterbacks in a box for so long, and we just didn't fit in that box. You
Right.
know, like
Right.
we just didn't fit in that box. And so, but then you have some quarterbacks that are successful because they can fit into that box. Like that's just how it goes. So that's my opinion of how I feel about it.
I got you. I'm just I'm just getting you ready Get ready, boy. I like the Beehive, bro, of the Swifties. They gonna be like, let me look up his stat. Let me see what he did. And that's such a, and I hate when people do that. That's such a false narrative to say somebody doesn't have an opinion because they didn't throw for 700 touchdowns. That's just that's a real. So just get ready.
Which is very funny because that very person that's bashing that person probably has never even touched the field themselves at all.
I laugh. Right? I laugh at all.
And so it's funny. It's very ironic that those are the ones that really get it. But it is what it is, man. It is.
So just a quick story. So I've been on this for a little bit, and I love it. It's fun. And then every now and then you might hear somebody say something crazy, like to me. And some people know that I played ball. Some people don't know. But even the ones that knew I played ball, when I hear them say something like, man, you went to HBCU. So what, you made it to the NFL? You weren't like that. You see me play, Donnie. Anybody that see me play, I promise you, you've seen me in person. Right. I would knock you out.
That's right.
Literally knock you out. And that's what's the funny part about it. And I'm not gonna sit on my high horse and talk about it because it's coming around, but just get ready. I'm excited because I know this right here, they gonna wanna talk about it. So the next time you come on, we're gonna have some people. I'm gonna have a little bit of a panel. We're gonna have some conversations. Because you being a quarterback, you understand everything from what is it like being in the pocket. And we'll have another follow-up conversation. But just, man, bro, I appreciate you coming on, man. I really appreciate you coming on. Hey, and this was enlightening to some of the people that don't know the progression of the modern Black quarterback. Yeah, and then hit me up if there's any other topics you want to talk about, bro, because this right here is about to be fire. So get
and that overrated. I want to make sure you know the one. Everybody look up the Duke fans chanting overrated. I want to make sure y'all know the overrated.
Yep.
Not just overrated. It has to have some behind it.
It gotta have some behind. You put a chant. You chanting that thing, huh?
That's right. The chant.
All right, man. Well, you have a good one. Hey, back of the bus. Another episode is fire. We'll definitely have Donnie back. We'll have some other guests coming up pretty soon. So everybody have a good one. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Donnie. Have a good one.
Yeah.
Getting in the back is where we belong. Kicking knowledge, soak it up, and we stay strong. From by six, spit truth, that's our flow. Alpha rule, raw, high, law, dog, let's go. Like, comment, subscribe, and share, that's our motto. In the back of the bus, we shine bright like a logo. Knowledge and experience, we ain't playing games. Fubu, for us, by us, that's how we claim our fame. On the bus, we rise above. Gotta show them what we're made of. Knowledge, experience, and unity. With a voice of the community. Yeah.